Welcome to Tofurious Toys. For this one, we'll be covering the deluxe collectible figure Mark 43 Iron Man from Threezero. Here on the front, it seems to be a digital rendering of the figure inside. Opening the cover shows a picture of the figure on the left and a window of the figure and the additional hands on the right. The right side has the Threezero logo there at the top, Iron Man character information there in the middle, and a Threezero holographic sticker at the bottom to show authenticity. The left side shows the Threezero logo again and the same Iron Man character information there in the middle, and then some circuit board artwork. Top is just the Iron Man information again, another Threezero logo, and the bottom is just a UPC code. The back lets you know that it's not a toy and that it's only suitable for ages 15 or above. The rest of the back is various warnings in various languages. Picking up the box here to cut it open, it does have a little bit of heft to it. It is partially die cast. Get that out of there, set the box to the side. Here's a better look of the figure with the hands and accessories. On the back we have the blast effects and a figure stand. Inside is an instructional booklet as well as a warranty sheet. Probably not going to use that. The instruction manual shows a black and white picture of the figure. The inside shows some product accessories and some assembly instructions. Go ahead and set that aside to refer to later if I need to. I'm going to try to get this out without dropping everything. Already failed. Get these hands out individually and take a look at them. We're just going to take a quick look at these hands. Here is a right open hand. This here is one of the attachable arm rockets. Here we have another right hand. See if we can get it to focus. This hand has a port to plug in one of the blast effects. Here's a left and a right open hand, both with ports to plug in the blast effects. Pretty sure this is the exact same mold on both of these hands. Same thing with the left hands. Here's another right hand with the repulsor. Left hand with the repulsor. Another right hand with the repulsor. Man down, man down. Try to get him to stand back up while we take a last look at this attachable arm rocket. Oh well, we'll get back to it. Here's that other attachable arm rocket. And the last hand with the repulsor port. Having multiple points of articulation for his neck, one at the bottom, one at the top, it gives him a wider range of motion. I have to hold the neck still or it'll turn at the same time as turn the rest of his head. His shoulder pads move up out of the way for when you raise his arms. He's got a couple of spaces here that pop out. This one tries to spring back in. This side comes out and stays out. This side pops back in. I got it popped out, but this one still moves freely. This one is harder to keep out. This section of the shoulder comes out that much. Gives a little bit more freedom. The shoulder pad gets pretty far out of the way so that you can move the arm wherever you want it and then reposition the shoulder pad where you need it. He's got full 360 at the shoulder, full 360 at the bicep, 90 degrees at the elbow. Whoops. And a ball jointed wrist. I'm afraid to get too rough with it and break it. He has what looks like 4 sections in his abdomen for an ab crunch. Checking rotation at the lower torso here, it looks like he only rotates at the diaphragm, not at the waist. Moving on to his legs, we'll see the kind of movement we get on those. Just trying to see what other pieces might be loose here. These hip joints are pretty stiff. Got some upper thigh rotation. Looks like I dinged it up already. There's a drop down at the upper hip joint. Whoops, that pops off. Put it on upside down. So not only is there a drop down, but this folds out to allow for the leg to move upward. Now it's stuck down. Try to pry that back open, but I have no fingernails. There we go. Get that one open. Leg goes up. Lay that back down. A little flap here behind the heel to allow the foot to go backwards, and another flap in front to allow the foot to go forward. Looks like the foot is on a dumbbell joint, giving it a pretty wide range of motion. There's articulation in the toes. Any other movable parts on here? No, just the toe. A quick look at the instructional booklet let me know that there is a battery compartment in the top of his dome. Let me get something to try to pry that back with. Hopefully that won't scratch it. Get in there, push it back. It just slides backwards. There's a Phillips head screw in here. I want to drop that screw and lose it forever. Pulls right off, and it shows that batteries are not included. Alright, let's get a better look inside here before I put the screw back on. The instruction manual says 2 AG1 button cell batteries are needed, but I don't have any, and I'm probably not going to get any. The instructions also show a battery compartment under here that also takes 2 AG1 batteries. Let's pop this open and see what that looks like. Well, that was a miniature nightmare. Just get this back in there. To illuminate the arc reactor itself has a little button with a pretty satisfying click. Underneath the helmet, there's a little button to illuminate the eyes. On the back here, he has a couple of articulated back flaps. A little section of the top side of the forearm here pops out to make room for that arm rocket launcher. Pops right into place. Same exact thing on the other side. Alright, let's check out the stand now and these blast effects. Get this plugged in there. It looks like the stand is pretty articulated itself. Here it goes, side to side. Goes forward and back. It rotates right there above that pivot point. The top is essentially a double jointed elbow, allowing you to pose him standing or pose him in a flight pose. Alright, let's look at these blast effects. There are 2 long ones and 2 short ones. There's one. The rest are essentially the same, just 2 of them are shorter. One of the accessories is this little black plastic strap. The instruction booklet says it is made for removing the batteries. Seems pretty pointless. And I think I just lost it. Alright, let's get him mounted to this stand here. Try to get this off without scratching it or losing it. Alright, there that is. Almost lost it. Had to rescue it from under the table. This almost feels like a violation. Whoops. So the arm bends down to put him in a standing pose. While attempting to try to get him straightened up, I found a new point of articulation, similar to a butterfly joint. Speaking of articulation, I never finished going over this leg articulation. That drop down joint there allows his legs to go forward, and the plates on the front of his legs at the top of his thighs move out of the way to let you kick the feet forward more. Alright, let's take a look at this blast effect application. Whoops, wrong hand. Also the wrong hand. There's one. It's the other hand. There we go. As I previously stated, the arm in the back goes up higher to allow for a flight pose here. Now I'm going to get him stood up flat on the ground, not the stand, so that I can take a measurement and do height comparisons. Getting the ruler back here, we see that he is 7 1/8 of an inch, slightly taller than the 6.5 I was expecting. Here on Big Bad Toy Store, he is listed as 1/12 scale and also 6.5 inches. And now back to your regularly scheduled review. First, we'll stand him next to the Bandai Fighting Armor Iron Man, for obvious reasons. I thought they'd be closer in size. Now let's toss in Figma Samus Aran. Kick Iron Man out. Now we'll toss in a Mezco Toys Batfleck. Moving Samus to make room for a NECA Hal Jordan. That's more like it size-wise. Batfleck Be Gone to make room for Mandibulus from Mythic Legions. Get Lost Hal, let's make room for a standard Marvel Legends Icarus figure. That's more 1/12. Getting rid of Mandibulus, we make room for the dreaded Dread Pirate Roberts. Buy Icarus, make room for Mark 21 Iron Man. He's big compared to 112, and he's even smaller than this guy. I love the shine to this guy. I love the attention to detail. I love all of the extra articulation points there in the back and abdomen. That fighting armor Iron Man has been living on my desk at work for a while. I thought about changing it with this guy, but I think he's just too tall. Not too sure why there's an extra set of hands for the blast effects that is the exact same mold as the other one. They're just going to go in a bag anyway. It looks like the two sets of hands that are open without holes are also the exact same mold. My preferred scale is 6-inch scale, but Todd McFarlane's kind of pushed me out of that comfort zone. I may have run a little bit long-winded on this one, but there you have it, guys. This has been my review of the Mark 43 Iron Man from Threezero. If you got any enjoyment out of this video, please give me a thumbs up. Even if you didn't, let me know what I can do for future videos to make them more enjoyable. If you feel so inclined, please subscribe, and I would be very grateful.